Hello and welcome to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva and I'm here this morning to do a quick VR to Amethyst Spirit. She made a video a little while ago called Doubting My Spirituality, in which she discussed doubting in the sense of not being sure of impressions that she received during meditation. And I have something to say on this. I, as a tarot reader, have also faced the doubt that she is speaking of. I have had times where I have read for others, and honestly, I've had moments in those readings where I have said to myself, oh, this has to just be total BS, you know. I've had moments where I'm not sure of the sense, the impressions, the sort of feelings that I get. But I have learned to trust whatever I intuit, whatever I receive in terms of feelings or insights, and I have come to the realization that it's important to just open yourself to receiving what you receive, and when you convey that to the other person, you know, maybe let them know, okay, I'm not 100% sure, but this is what I picked up on. And sometimes what it is that something that you intuit can be out of context for yourself because you don't live that person's life, but that person themselves may look at what you have intuited and or received as impressions, and they may understand what you have received better than you do. One instance, I'll tell you a story. I won't say who the reading was for, but I was reading for someone in regard to fertility. They wanted to know if they would have a child. They didn't tell me really anything else about the situation. So I began reading for this person, and I was receiving sort of paradoxical messages from the cards. I was feeling that she was healthy, and yet I was feeling that it was a hormonal imbalance that was preventing her from having a child. And I was very doubtful of this because it was sort of this message that was like sort of dualistic or, you know, contradictory. Because how can you be healthy and then have a hormonal imbalance, you know? So I continued reading, and I intuited that it was a thyroid issue. So I stopped reading for a moment, went online, did a little research. I was surprised to learn that yes, thyroid issues can absolutely interfere with fertility. So, because I saw that thyroid issues can interfere, I said, okay, well, being that it's possible and I didn't know this, I'm just going to trust in spirit and I'm just going to convey the message that I received. So I did. Well, she contacted me later in tears saying, thank you. She said it's been confirmed. Her and her husband had been to the doctor, and they were told that it wasn't her, it was a thyroid imbalance in her husband, and that's why they were having issues. So what I'm trying to say is, though you can doubt what you feel or what you see or what you know, what comes to you from spirit sometimes in regard to others or in regard to, you know, various things, whether it's a reading or whether it's just something else, you know, in terms of messages or whatever, you know, or being spirit-led, whatever. I think it's important to just be open and just trust, and often hindsight is 20/20 and things will begin to click later, you know, or in terms of reading for other people or in terms of things that come up for others. Later on, they usually start to click into place. And that was not the only time, you know, that issue, that reading that I did for that woman was not the only time that I doubted. I have had that more than once. It's not that I doubt my ability, but I also don't walk around all cocky like, oh, I know that I'm, you know, psychic and I could totally, and you know, that's not how I walk around. I am always floored when I receive confirmation that what I have picked up on is valid and true. And knock wood, as of yet, every reading that I have done, I have received confirmation that what I picked up on was correct. Usually I don't get crazy specifics. Usually the impressions that I get are somewhat more generalized, and yet they do refer to things that I was not told, because a lot of times the people that come to me don't tell me like the whole backstory. They just say, I want to know about this. So I find that trusting and just, despite the doubt, just going with what I feel, you know, what I see in the cards, when I scry, when I use them as a tool to access my, I think clairsentience is the right word, claircognizance, something like that. I use the cards, scry into them, and I feel the feelings that they give me, and that is a way that I access my sort of higher knowing. You know, messages will come to me from spirit, from the spiritual realm, through the images and feelings that I get from the cards. I use the cards as a tool for that. And I have learned that trusting what comes through, even if I don't understand it fully, I have found great success in that. So my advice would be open up, trust, even if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know about this. If you convey what you've received to another person, just tell them, hey, I'm not 100% sure, but this is what I picked up on. You know, maybe you understand it better than I do because it's out of context for me. I don't live your life. And usually when they receive, you know, the feelings and thoughts and whatever you received, the messages, however you want to put it, they will have a greater sense of context for that. And then usually later on, after you've conveyed those impressions, they'll come back to you and they will say, oh, well, this does make sense because of this and this and this. And you go, oh, okay, you know. So I just thought maybe think about that. Think about just trust, you know. And when it comes to spirit-led, you know, like synchronistic sort of messages and things like that, again, also trust. I think it helps, being that you, Amethyst, receive images. You know, you get images in your mind's eye of things. Get familiar with symbolism, what certain pictures and images, you know, of things will mean to you, how you feel about those images that you see, like the feelings that they give you. Because I think that would be a better way for you to understand what the images are trying to convey. And in that way, maybe with the symbolism helping you to interpret what images you are seeing, maybe that will help you to sort of have a greater sense of what exactly you're being shown. I hope this video has helped. I hope I've given you a little bit of not just food for thought, but sort of direction in terms of how to handle that sense of doubt. You know, all I can do is tell you from my experience, you know, doubt happens. but you have to trust that when you're going with your, your intuition, or in your case, your clairvoyance, where you see things, your psychic senses, when you trust those, you will get accurate information. But you really you have to be open, and you have to trust. And like I said before, usually hindsight is 20/20. Things may not make sense while you're getting what you're, in the impressions you're getting, but later they'll sort of start to click, the dots will start to connect, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that, and I hope that you find a greater sense of sort of trust and comfort in your clairvoyance, in your psychic senses. I wish you well, as always. If you or anyone else has any questions, comments, thoughts, feelings, whatever, I welcome those in the comment box, and I always try to address those as best I can. And that said, blessed be and ashe, and have a great day. Bye-bye for now.